Alright guys, I'm in Dallas, Texas, filming on the road, a little bit of a different setup, obviously. I just need to make sure that everything is good to go, and I don't like this shirt. Shazam! It worked. Oh my god! It's movie time at the El Sleazo. Man, can you believe all the apps and games we've had turned into movies lately? We have Angry Birds the movie, Tomb Raider the movie, and now Shazam the movie. What a time to be alive. What a time. Shazam is directed by David F. Wait, can we try that again? Shazam is directed by David F. Sandberg and stars Zachary Levi, Mark Strong, Jack Dylan Grazer, and his tagline is something like, just say his name. Say my name. And it's the story of Billy Batson, an orphan kid who is summoned by a wizard named Shazam who proves he is worthy to receive all of Shazam's power. When saying the name, he not only transforms into a superhero, but also a full-grown man. So this is the 7th film in the DCEU, which after a rough start has turned a little bit of a corner with Wonder Woman and Aquaman. This is a movie that's been dubbed as DC's Deadpool, which has got a lot of people excited to see DC take another step forward. But before I start the review, I just want to say that this is probably the hardest review I've had to do yet because of my opposing views with everybody else, it seems. Pretty much all YouTube critics and Rotten Tomato critics have come out and praised this movie, and I'm just gonna come right out and say it that I didn't love it. And this right here is my biggest fear of doing movie reviews, is having the wrong opinion, but it's gonna happen sometimes. And if you don't agree with my opinion or hate everything I say, then that's cool too. Agree to disagree. I just wanted to come out and say that, so thank you guys for understanding. Anyways, on with the review. Zachary Levi as Shazam in this movie is fantastic. I mean, obviously in the movie, he's not a 30-year-old guy. He's a 14-year-old kid grown up into an adult's body. So he really has to embody a 14-year-old spirit. And he does it very well here, and he makes the movie very fun. His best friend Freddy in this movie is also incredible. I thought he was the best part of the entire movie. He's the rock that really is a solid part of this movie. And by the way, his name is Freddie Freeman. Does anybody else know that that's like one of the best baseball players in the world? Freddie Freeman plays for Atlanta, which has nothing to do at all with the film because it takes place in Philadelphia. I really enjoyed how the foster kids were handled in this movie. You really root for them. You root for Freddie, you root for Billy, you want them to succeed because you know how hard their lives have been. I thought the family dynamic of this movie was really awesome. The best aspect of this movie to me was the dynamic between Freddie and Billy / Shazam. I thought the screenplay was well done during those bits. Those parts. Obviously, Jack Dylan Grazer was in it as well, which also had its, teenage kind of dynamic between all the teens. It was well done here. And piggybacking off of that, the movie really picks up when he becomes Shazam. When he starts figuring out his powers and the dynamic between him and Freddy. And also he's an adult now in a kid's body, which has that kind of big, comedy in it. So they have a lot to play with there. And piggybacking again off of this, the discovering of the powers was hilarious. I mean, so many times in movies, every superhero just has their powers. And in this one, they don't even know what powers he has. So there's so much testing of what powers he has. Does he have this? Does he have that? What can he do? What can he not? And so that stuff was hilarious. I thought that was really funny. I thought it was so funny in the movie that he can shoot lightning out of the tips of his fingers, and there's a scene where they're trying to test out if he has laser vision, and he doesn't have laser vision. So he tries to trick Freddy by putting his hand right here, and he just kind of zaps over there with his fingertip lightning. That sounds like a cool metal band. But I thought that part was really funny. And now to some of the negatives, guys. I thought that the costumes looked really cheesy to me. I didn't really buy it. It didn't really look cool to me, and that's one of the best parts of superheroes are their costumes, their super suits.
Where's my super suit?
And I just didn't really buy it. I mean, tell me Shazam does not look like Mr. Bill. Tell me. And not just Zachary Levi's Shazam, but also the first Shazam, the wizard. I mean, you could tell he was wearing a huge wig. It just didn't look authentic to me. And this movie's really tough for me because I really liked a lot of parts about it. I really think it had that potential. But the problem is we are comparing this to Deadpool, right? Marvel and DC are like competing. And this is DC's Deadpool. And so when you compare the two films side by side, to me, Deadpool is by far the better movie. I just don't think they're close. I thought that the screenplay, especially in the beginning of the movie, was subpar to average. It was, at times, terrible. It was just, God, can't even talk. It was hard to watch. For the most part, the movie was funny, but there were a lot of jokes. For me personally, that didn't land, especially in those first 30 minutes. It felt like a bad Disney movie. Like a bad original Disney movie. I was in a packed theater, and nobody was laughing in the first 30 minutes. It doesn't pick up till Freddy meets Billy, and Shazam starts becoming Shazam. That's when the movie picks up. But before that, it was really rough. I mean, just for straight comparison, Deadpool is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen in my life. What accent am I doing? The musical score didn't really stand out. Not really a negative, but it's just not a positive. One of my biggest flaws in the movie is how un-DC this movie felt. I mean, it didn't even feel like the same universe as the DCEU, right? It felt like a one-time movie spin-off thing, and that kind of leads into another thing. They mentioned Superman and Batman so many times. I'm talking like 400 times, not that much, but a lot, okay? And just to remind you that you're in the DC. I mean, they seriously mention it so many times because they know how un-DC this movie is, right? It doesn't really fit in with Batman and Superman and Suicide Squad and Justice League. It's kind of weird. So they have to mention Superman and Batman to keep reminding you, like, hey, yo, this is the DCEU, okay? Okay? I thought it was pretty funny, and I'm gonna put it down as a negative, that when Shazam becomes Shazam, and he's discovering his powers, there's a couple of crimes that happen, but they happen 20 feet, 25 feet away from him. Like, two crimes. Like, he's becoming Shazam, he's testing out all these powers, and then literally, like, 15 yards away, somebody's getting robbed right next to him. I was like, I'll give it a pass, okay? One time. Next time they're in a gas station, and these two guys rob the gas station right when they're inside the gas station. I mean, it couldn't have been more coincidental, and I know it has to happen, but I don't care. It was a negative. And now on to maybe the biggest flaw of the entire movie for me. There are some monsters in this movie. They're kind of like gargoyles, but they're alive versions. And the CGI on them is one of the worst CGI jobs I've seen in a big budget movie. It was,
hello, darkness, my old friend.
like, for real. I mean, this movie seriously was like a little better version of Sky High. I mean, they don't show them in the trailer. So that's how you know when something is bad, when you don't show it in the trailer. I mean, Disney already knows what happens when they put the genie in the Aladdin trailer. We all saw that. We all saw how much lashback you got. Backlash you got. We all saw how much backlash you got for doing that. So it's pretty apparent why you didn't put the gargoyles in the trailer. That was a good move. I also thought the villain was weak. I thought Dr. Savannah. No, that's a desert. Savannah. Jeez. Dr. Savannah. I thought Dr. Savannah was very weak in this movie as well. I didn't think he was very intimidating. He wasn't very powerful. I mean, all of his power rides on the Monstars when he summons the Monstars from Space Jam. And overall, just the story, the movie, it's very average. The story is very average. There's no shocks. There's no surprises. I forgot about the movie the next day. It's one of those kinds of movies that you see on TV and you're like, hey, Mom, come check this one out. But I think advancing an entire universe of movies, I don't think it did a lot for that. So in the movie, Billy Batson a lot of the time wears this beanie with hair sticking out, and there's a flashback sequence of littler Billy wearing another beanie with some littler hair sticking out, just to let you know they're the same. So I noticed in the movie that Shazam has a cape, and on Shazam's cape he has a hoodie. So I thought, why wouldn't they give that to Shazam's counterpart, Aquaman? Why wouldn't they give him that hoodie? Well, because then it'd be Hoodie on the Blowfish.
We'll walk upon the wall.
So in the closing credits of the movie, they show that Dr. Savannah's real name is Thaddeus. And I'm like, don't try and hide the fact that you called him Thad several times throughout the movie. I mean, what are you, from Blue Mountain State?
You ever been to Bosnia?
So Billy Batson's mom in the movie is something like 30 years old, and there's a flashback sequence when she's 17 years old. She literally looks older at 17 than she does at 30. So early in development, this movie is actually titled Billy Batson and the Legend of Shazam. For whatever that's worth. I found it kind of weird that he Shazammed several times back to kid Billy Batson in front of like a lot of people. Nobody even bats an eye. Get it? Like bat an eye, Batson and I, and whatever. So a lot of people don't actually know this, but Shazam used to be called Captain Marvel, which means DC and Marvel both have characters named Captain Marvel. Both movies released within a month of each other. Both movies have an actor named Djimon Hounsou starring in them. This movie takes place in Philadelphia, but was filmed in Toronto. Yeah. So all in all, guys, I thought the movie was entertaining. I thought it was, for the most part, funny. It was a fun time, and I think a lot of people enjoy it. But when I'm grading it as a movie and comparing it to Deadpool, for me, it's night and day. I didn't think the comedy was enough to overcome an average story. Shazam was a subpar movie, and I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. And once again, guys, I just want to thank you for hearing me out. I know my opinion's very different from everybody else's, but, you know, it's my opinion. I don't want to fake it, so thank you. As always, guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like below. Let's try to get this video to 20 likes. Comment below your favorite DC movie if you've seen Shazam, if you haven't, if you want to. If you don't, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. Hit that bell for notifications. And as always, guys, for everything good, great, and okay, I'll see you in the next one.